do see what appears to be a quorum of members present. I do not see Councillor Williams or Councillor Dillon, but I do see all other members present at the moment. So you can proceed, Mr. Chair, whenever you wish.
Thank you very much, City Clerk. Our first is called to order, so I'll hand it over to you, Peter.
Members of committee, I will call your name. Please indicate your presence. Councillor Santos? I know Councillor Santos is present. She just indicated she may be on multitasking with another interview at the moment. Councillor Vicente?
Present.
Councillor Willens?
Present.
Councillor Paleschi?
Present.
Councillor Bowman?
Present.
Councillor Williams, I see has not joined the meeting yet. Councillor Fortini?
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Singh?
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Dillon, I see has not joined the meeting at the moment. And Chair Medeiros is present. So, Mr. Chair, you have 8 members present.
Thank you very much, City Clerk. Our next is approval of agenda. Does any member wish to add a business item to today's meeting? If so, please use the chat function. Are there any additions? I see no additions. So I do have a motion moved by Councillor Singh to approve the agenda, that the Planning Development Committee agenda for April 26 be approved as published and circulated. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Otherwise, your vote will count in the affirmative. There are no objections, so the motion carries. Meetings of municipal councils are to be open to the public for transparency and accountability, and our meetings will continue to be as well, with a few precautions and limitations. In-person attendance at this meeting is very limited. Members and staff are participating electronically. The public can still access and participate in the meeting in a number of ways. Watching this meeting remotely through the city's live stream and playback of the archived video stream, registering with the city's clerk's office as a virtual delegate to participate in the meeting, submitting questions about the agenda, business, and recommendations made by committee today by emailing the city clerk's office at cityclerksoffice@brampton.ca with your question, which may be read into the public meeting record during the 15-minute public question period before the end of the meeting. Also continue to follow important service and public health updates through the city's website, brampton.ca. Our next item is municipal conflict of interest. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? No, seeing none, the clerk will so note for the meeting minutes. We now move on to our consent motion. Committee, as part of our new consent motion process, I will read each agenda item which is subject to the consent motion. Any member may verbally identify the item to be held for debate during the meeting. So I'll start reading the relevant agenda items, and members can identify any items to be held for debate. First item is item 7.1, staff report regarding application to amend the official plan, TAC Holborn Corporation, 8863 Gore Road, Ward 8. Our next item is item 7.2, sustainability metrics program update. I think Councillor Willens, you said you wanted to hold it.
Yeah, just for a quick question. Thank you.
Okay, and item 8.1, Brampton Heritage Board, April 7th. Okay, so I do have a motion moved by Councillor Willens to approve the consent motion. The following items were considered to be routine and non-controversial by committee and were considered at one time. As per our trial process agreed to by council, the consent motion will be subject to a recorded vote. I'll hand it over to you, City Clerk.
Members of committee, please indicate your support for the consent motion. Councillor Santos? She's not present at the moment. Councillor Vicente?
Approved.
Councillor Willens?
Yes.
Councillor Paleschi?
Yes.
Councillor Bowman?
Yes.
Councillor Williams?
Yes.
Councillor Fortini? Councillor Fortini?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Singh?
Yes.
Councillor Dillon? I do not see in the meeting. And Chair Medeiros?
Yes.
That motion carries unanimously, 8-0.
Okay, thank you. So our first item as 8.7.1 was as part of the consent. We go to 7.2, staff report regarding sustainability metrics program update, and I'll hand it over to Councillor Woolens, who held this item. Councillor Woolens.
Yes, thank you, through you, Chair. Just a quick question if staff's there. I noticed that in the metrics report, I believe it was in the MH report, the supporting pollinators and the community gardens, I think they were in a list of things. Does this tie in nicely with what we're trying to do with the perhaps looking at urban farming to encourage more green roofs, encourage perhaps vertical gardening and on private and public properties? Would this be part of that report? If staff's there, they could give you a quick answer. I know there's a final report coming back later, but I just want to know if that's something that we can encourage some of the developers.
Through you, Chair, Councillor Wins, it's a good question. Yes, the Sustainability Metrics Program applies to properties that are being developed by the private sector, and the metrics program includes performance metrics related to urban agriculture and pollinators. So we have a metric that the development industry can receive points for regarding offering locations on their development for community gardens, and as well as making sure that their landscape plans incorporate pollinator plants. So yes, it very much aligns well with the city programs, both for pollinators and for urban agriculture.
Perfect, thank you. That was it. Thanks.
I think you're muted, Martin.
Thank you very much. My apologies. I don't see any further questions, so I do have a motion moved by Councillor Woolens that the staff report sustainability metrics program update to the Planning Development Committee meeting of April 26th, that the committee endorse the updated sustainability metrics in principle, and that staff be directed to develop updated sustainability thresholds and report back to Planning and Development Committee within the final update. Sustainability metrics and sustainability thresholds, as well as enhanced performance requirements for urban and town centers. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Okay, no objection, so the motion carries. 8.1 is in consent. We have no new business. Councillor question period. Do any members of council have any questions? Or members of committee? There are no questions. Public question period. City Clerk, do we have any questions from the public?
There are no questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So we now move on to adjournment, and I do, our next meeting is May 10th at 7 p.m. and I do have a motion moved by Councillor Bowman to the Planning Development Committee do now adjourn to meet again on May 10th at 7 p.m. or at the call of the chair. Is anyone opposed? Nope, the motion carries, so the meeting is now adjourned. Everyone have a good afternoon. Please stay safe and practice social distancing and wear face covering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of committee, we're just going to wait for the live